free speech is alive in America, but Congress says it's on life support in Europe as they get ready to examine how restrictions there could impact Americans' ability to speak freely here in the U.S. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino.
Morning to you. Pretty fast hour, number one, right?
In the books.
We'll keep it rolling.
Let's go.
I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. Europe's threat to American speech and innovation. That's the subject of a House hearing that's about to get underway on the Hill. Judiciary Committee zeroing in on Europe's sweeping tech laws and how they could suppress free speech even for Americans online.
So the hearing comes as TV writer Graham Linehan was arrested on arrival at Heathrow Airport over social media posts on trans issues. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage will be giving testimony today. He spoke to Sean Hannity about this case last night.
We are literally becoming like an authoritarian state where if you express an opinion that is not liked, and bear in mind, Mr. Linehan, who lives in Phoenix, Arizona these days, to be met by 5 armed officers as if he was some sort of international terrorist for literally putting jokey comments out about trans activists who played his life for years, shows you what the problem is.
Well, keep in mind, he's talking about a guy who flew in from the U.S. He had been in Arizona and arrived back in the U.K. Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel follows the story now. Mike, what you learn?
Bill, Dana, good morning to you. Congress digging into speech issues in Europe over concerns it could impact the rights of Americans. A hearing getting underway in House Judiciary any moment now. I asked Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona, a member of this committee, why this matters to Congress. And he says because this law affects American businesses, people, and internet service providers.
Well, because it impacts U.S. individuals as well. I mean, they want to do everything from censor all websites and do age accountability, but they also want to get into, Mike, they want to be able to get into cell phones and do backdoor hacks.
This comes as British comedian Graham Linehan posted yesterday that he's been arrested again. When he landed at Heathrow Airport, Linehan says he was met by 5 armed officers. He says they told him he was being arrested over 3 posts on X. Linehan writes, quote, in a country where pedophiles escape sentencing, where knife crime is out of control, where women are assaulted and harassed every time they gather to speak, the state had mobilized 5 armed officers to arrest a comedy writer for this tweet. And no, I promise you, I am not making this up. Among the tweets, Linehan wrote, quote, if a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act. Piers Morgan reacted saying when it comes to free speech, Britain is turning into North Korea, setting the stage for today's hearing.
Wow.
Bill, Dana.
What a story. Okay, here we go. Mike Emanuel, thanks, live in D.C. Dana?
More on this, we have the perfect guest. Ben Shapiro hosts The Ben Shapiro Show. And J.K. Rowling, who I know you follow on X, she posted this. What the F has the U.K. become? This is totalitarianism, utterly deplorable. It's not new, but this is a striking example of what's been going on.
Yeah, it definitely is not new. I mean, the New York Post reported just a few months ago that they'd had dozens and dozens of arrests per day based on social media postings. Meanwhile, obviously, they have crime problems that are out of control in the UK. They've had massive scandals inside the UK government and covered up by the UK media, including that Rotherham grooming gang scandal, which actually spanned a number of cities in the UK. And currently, Yvette Cooper, who's the Home Secretary over there, is talking about importing more refugees from the Middle East who are presumably not going to share sort of the UK's historic values. So this is what it looks like when a civilization decides to completely hollow itself out.
Keep in mind, this guy writes sitcoms.
Yes.
All right? And a member of parliament said Britain used to be known for its sense of humor. Now the police are arresting people for making jokes. This is a high-profile deal because people know about him. There are others who people have, they're just regular folks who are, riding a keyboard inside their office or their home.
This is right. And I think that the thing that it's important for Americans to know, there are really 2 things that are important. One is that speech restrictions in Europe do have an impact on American businesses. If you run a media business, for example, in the United States, and you're trying to distribute your material abroad, you have to abide by the law in those particular countries. So you do have to worry about distributing, for example, those tweets on Fox News in the UK. Could that create legal liability? These are actual issues that lawyers have to think about. And then the second big thing to remember here is that the First Amendment is the most robust and most well-defended amendment of the United States Constitution. If that were not the case, if the Supreme Court had a different orientation, you would be seeing hate speech exceptions to free speech written into the Constitution, and this sort of thing would be happening in states presumably like California and also in New York.
I think the other thing that's very disturbing about this is that this is a British guy who was in America, wrote the tweets while he was on American soil, but the armed guards in Heathrow, they must have tracked him and his flight so that they could be there and receive him at the airport and arrest him off the plane, send him to the hospital.
This is exactly right. So apparently he wrote in his Substack that when he got to the airport in the United States, there was some sort of snafu with the ticket. And he realized later that that actually was the airline that was coordinating probably with British authorities to ensure that they had officers on the ground ready to take him away to jail for these bad tweets. I mean, it's insane.
Well, another story out of London, ironically. Chris Martin of Coldplay cannot stay out of the news. His thing was to put two people, a couple, on the big screen, and we know what happened in Boston, Massachusetts. And now he's calling fans on stage. So he called these two young ladies on stage. He asked them where they were from, and this is how it went. Watch carefully here.
Where did you come from today? From Israel. Okay, well, listen. I'm going to say this. I'm very grateful that you're here as humans, and I'm treating you as equal humans on earth, regardless of where you come from or don't come from. Thank you for being here. We're grateful, and thank you for being loving and kind. Okay, and riding aside. And although it's controversial maybe, I also want to welcome people in the audience from Palestine, because we have a belief that we're all equally human.
So there was another route he could have taken. He could have said, good evening, thanks for coming.
Yes.
And I'm sorry what your country's been through going back to October 7th.
He definitely could have
and
done
bring
that.
the hostages home.
Well, in Yiddish, we would call him a schmuck, because he is. I mean, the fact is that Chris Martin is a fool. I think that probably what happened is that because he is a rote liberal, he heard the boos on stage from the crowd of the fact that these fans were from Israel, and he decided that he had to now make excuses for the fact that these people were on stage. And so what, he's granting them their humanity because they're from Israel? He has to pat them on the head. Can you imagine if the situation were reversed? Let's say that these had been people who are from, for example, the Gaza Strip, and they came up on stage. Do you think for even half a second he would have said, regardless of their sympathies, if he had said, you know, I'm treating you as just a human up here because, you know, regardless of where, and also, hello to all the Israelis in the crowd. There's just no way in hell that ever would have happened.
No.
The only reason this is happening is because the left has decided to single out Israel for its ire, and that means to dehumanize people such that it's an act of generosity to actually have to humanize people from Israel, which is totally, totally insane. But unfortunately, the way this is
How
going.
would you advise young women like that? Because I imagine it was pretty humiliating for them. Now they're on stage. They're with they paid money to go to this concert. They obviously love Coldplay. They must have been excited to be called up on stage. And then I'm sure their hearts sank as they realized what was happening, and they tried to hold their head high in the moment.
I mean, first bad decision is to go to a Coldplay concert ever because Coldplay sucks. But beyond that, I think that the second thing is that, you know, it must have been really, really difficult for them, especially given the fact that Israel is an extremely small country. That means undoubtedly they have family members who are in harm's way or who were in harm's way on October 7th. And what that means is that, you know, I'm sure the temptation in the moment might have been to say something like, you know, I'm proud of where I'm from, and I'm proud of what it is that my country is doing in defense of our citizenry. They probably didn't have the kind of wherewithal to say that. And then, like I said, they just went to a music concert to have a good time. And again, there's a great irony to the fact that musicians, particularly, seem to have so much sympathy for a group represented by a government in Hamas and a terrorist group in Hamas that literally led this off by attacking a music festival in right outside the Gaza Strip.
Ben, thanks for being here. Good luck on the book.
Yes, the book is
Lions
called...
and
It's Lions and Scavengers, The True Story of America. I read an excerpt yesterday in the Free Press. I thought it was excellent, and I love the title.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks for being here.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.